Hi, happy Monday, everyone. It's Danielle here with the library, and we are here for our monthly first Monday cooking demo. So today we are going to incorporate two of my favorite cold weather things, my crock pot and soup. We're going to be making a pot of cheeseburger soup in the slow cooker. Here is our recipe lineup for today. We have a pound of ground beef, chicken broth, potatoes, onions, carrots, garlic. We're going to use turkey bacon. I am not a fan of regular bacon, but you can use whichever you'd prefer. And then we also have some Velveeta cheese here. And for our seasoning, we're going to use salt, pepper, and Italian seasoning. The first step in our recipe is to prep our vegetables. So I peeled and chopped 4 small potatoes, my 1 medium-sized onion. There's a cup of shredded carrot here. I just shredded mine with my shredder, but if you were to buy pre-shredded carrot, I would totally not judge you. I think we're good enough friends that you know that that is totally something I would have done if I had thought of it. Also, that's 3 small cloves of garlic. I've got my 3 cups of chicken broth, and I'm going to put in a couple teaspoons of Italian seasoning. You can certainly measure it, but will probably just eyeball it. So the recipe did not call for this, but I decided to do a tiny spritz of olive oil spray. I mean, just the tiniest mist on the bottom of my slow cooker. I just thought it might help the vegetables cook up nicer. So then I just dumped in all my vegetables, my potatoes, carrots, onions, garlic, and then sprinkled them with the Italian seasoning. And now I'm going to just pour the chicken broth right over the top of the vegetables. There we go. And I'm going to put this on high because I started it a little bit late. It says 4 to 5 hours, but my slow cooker is notoriously faster than that. Sorry about the background noise. The kids are doing some crazy thing in the living room. You could also cook it on low for about 8 hours. Again, if your crock pot's anything like mine, you probably will not need quite that much time. Cool, buddy. Our soup base has been cooking in the crock pot on high for, I don't know, an hour and a half or so. So I just want to peek at it. Looks really yummy and it smells really good. It kind of reminds me of if you've ever had like the Lipton soup, chicken noodle soup or Ringo noodle. It's kind of what the smell reminds me of. But lots of yummy stuff floating and getting all toasty here in the crock pot. So I'm excited to add the rest of our ingredients and see the whole thing come together. When you have about 45 minutes to an hour of cook time left in your crock pot, you're going to prepare the ground beef just by browning it on the stovetop, and you're going to cook your bacon. You can definitely do this on the stovetop or in the oven. I always cook my bacon in the air fryer. So if you're going to air fry it, I would suggest you put it in at 400 for approximately 10 minutes. Flipping is necessary. Just keep an eye on it so that you can cook it to your desired crispiness and to make any allotments for the fact that yours may cook a little bit differently. All right, since it's Sunday, when I'm making this video, you're probably going to hear some football in the background. That's how it works in our house on Sundays. But here is our lovely air-fried bacon. Came out perfect, and it's nice because you can just stick it in the air fryer and not worry about it too much. And I also drained all of the grease and fat off of the ground beef that I browned. I didn't season that with anything but a little salt and pepper. Because there's going to be plenty of flavors in the soup. Plus, we are going to be adding more salt and pepper to the soup itself. So I didn't want it to get too over-seasoned or salty. What I'm going to do now is chop up the bacon. And I wiped out the grease from the bottom of my pan because, and I'm sorry, I forgot to show these ingredients in the little overview I did. We're going to make a little sauce here in the saucepan to add to the crock pot as well. All right, our ground beef, which I did drain the grease off of, and our cooked chopped bacon has been added to our soup. So, let's see, I don't know where my spoon went, but I'm just going to give it a quick stir through. As you can see, it's really making it nice and thick already. And we haven't even added the sauce or the cheese yet. So I'm super excited to try this. I am now melting 2 tablespoons of butter into the same skillet that I used to brown my ground beef. I did wipe the pan out again just as a reminder, so there's not a ton of grease or anything in there, but hopefully it still retained some of the yummy stuff and flavor from the beef. So as soon as this melts, I am going to carefully add a 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. Although I have to admit, I think this is actually whole wheat flour because that's all I had. But we usually improvise here at my house. So, got it combined so it's nice and crumbly in the butter. And then I'm going to slowly start to add 2 cups of 2% milk to create a sauce. So I just poured in a little bit here. And I'm going to grab my whisk and just slowly whisk that to try to incorporate the buttery flour in. And I will continue to do this until I have added all of the milk and it's nice and smooth. At that point, I will add a little bit of salt and pepper. And then I'm going to add the sauce right to the crock pot with the rest of our soup. Hopefully we'll make it nice and thick. Just wanted to give you a little sneak peek of our sauce before I add it to the crock pot. It came out so nice and smooth and thick. So again, that's just flour, butter, and 2% milk. And I added some salt and pepper, but it really made a super nice thick sauce, and I think it's going to give our soup a great texture. So as I mentioned, next step is going to be to pour this right into the rest of our soup in the crock pot. I just added the butter, milk, and flour mixture to the soup. It looks great and definitely increased the volume quite a bit. So now it is really starting to look the way that I would expect a cheeseburger soup to look. All right, we're in the home stretch with our soup recipe. I took our 8 ounces of Velveeta and I cubed it. I did not mention this earlier in the recipe, but this is actually kind of a combination of 2 bacon cheeseburger soup recipes that I found online. The one that I'm primarily using actually calls for 8 ounces of shredded pepper jack or cheddar cheese, but I just find that in soup, and especially in the crock pot, Velveeta melts a lot better, but that's totally at your discretion. We are missing 1 cube because my 6-year-old saw me cutting the cheese up and he stole a piece. So hopefully we're still nice and cheesy in our soup, even with the missing cube. All right, so our cubes of Velveeta are now swimming in the rest of the soup here in our crock pot. So we're going to let that sit in there. I'm going to put the top back on and hopefully it'll get nice and melty in about 20 minutes or so, and then we can go ahead and eat our soup. All right, Grace, how does our soup look now that it's done?
It looks good.
Looks really good. Can you dig in and get some of the bigger pieces to show everyone? Oh my goodness. So we've got all sorts of yummy vegetables and ground beef and
bacon.
Potatoes. Yep. We did add a little bit more Velveeta because, like I said, Matthew had eaten some. And I was feeling nervous. Yep, it's a kind of melty cheese. So I did tell Grace she couldn't eat anything. She just found out her brother stole a piece of cheese. But anyway, it looks absolutely delicious. It smells super good. This would be great with some bread and a salad. I think we are going to do some Tuscan garlic bread that I got at Wegmans, and also some fresh apple slices because we just did some apple picking. So I think it's going to be a perfect fall dinner. If you give this a try, let us know. Otherwise, check in the comments if you want to see the full recipe. Happy eating, everyone. Enjoy your soup.